Hello friends, in this video I will explain you how to prepare a generalized Excel sheet for the design of restrained two-way slabs. So in the case of restrained two-way slabs, depending upon the type of panel, you will have the values of bending moment coefficients. So I will prepare the Excel sheet in such a way that for any type of panel, I can design the slab in the same Excel sheet. So here I will explain the Excel sheet preparation with the help of an example. So here I have shown you a part of a banking hall, and we want to design these two slabs, that is S1 and S2, which are supported on edge beams of 230 mm by 230 mm size, and we have to design the slabs S1 and S2 with the help of M25 grade concrete and HYSD grade reinforcement of Fe415. So here we can see that the slab S1 has two adjacent edges discontinuous, while the slab S2 has one longer edge discontinuous. So first of all we will design the slab panel S1. So here the longer dimension of the slab S1 is 5 meters, shorter dimension is 4 meters, and the thickness of support is 230 mm by 230 mm, and we will design the slab for M25 grade concrete and Fe415 grade steel. Here I have assumed the clear cover as 20 mm. The next step is to calculate the design factors. So here the design factors are XU max by D, Q limit and PT max. So the formula for all these factors is given here. So based on the above values we will calculate the design factors. The next step is the aspect ratio. So here the aspect ratio, which is the ratio of Ly by Lx. So here Ly is here 5 meters and Lx is here 4 meters. So we will get the ratio as 1.25. So as this ratio is less than or equal to 2, so we will design it as a two-way slab, and if it is more than 2, then we will design it as a one-way slab. So here the ratio is 1.25, which is less than or equal to 2. So the next step is to calculate the effective depth required to satisfy the deflection criteria. So to calculate the effective depth, we need the value of span by D ratio. So here, as per the clause 24.1 given on page number 39, when the effective shorter span is less than 3.5 meters and the live load is less than or equal to 3 kN per meter square, the span by depth ratio for the continuous slab is given by 40 into modification factor, and the span by depth ratio is equal to 40 into modification factor into 0.8 if we are using Fe415 grade steel. But here in our case the shorter span is 4 meters, which is more than 3.5 meters, and live load is 4 kN per meter square, which is more than 3 kN per meter square. So here we cannot use this clause, so we will use the clause given on page number 37. So as per that clause, the span by depth ratio will be given by, for the continuous slab it is given by 26. So basically if the clause given on page number 39, if it is not satisfied, then we will use the clause on page number 37. So that is the clause for the one-way slab also. So here the effective depth required will be Lx divided by 26 into modification factor. So here the modification factor is 1.3. So here I have assumed the percentage of reinforcement as 0.4%. So for that the modification factor is 1.3. So we will get the effective depth required to satisfy the deflection criteria. So I will assume the effective depth more than the required depth. So I have assumed here 120 mm, and overall depth, which is nothing but the effective depth plus clear cover plus die of bar by 2. So here I assume 10 mm bars. So next is the load calculation. So here the self weight of the slab, which is nothing but the overall depth of the slab, that is 145 multiplied by 25, which is the unit weight of concrete, and dividing it by 1000, because here the overall depth is in mm. So we get the self weight as 3.625 kN per meter. I've assumed the floor finish as 0.8 and live load as 4 kN per meter square, and I have multiplied it by 1 because we are calculating the reinforcement for 1 meter width. So I will get live load as 4 kN per meter. So the total load is 8.425 and the factored load, which is nothing but 1.5 times the total load. The next step is we will calculate the effective spans in both the directions. So we will calculate it as per clause given on page number 34. So as per this clause, for continuous beam and slab, in the case of the continuous beam or slab, the width of the if the width of the support is less than 1/12 of the clear span, the effective span shall be taken as given in 22.2a. So here first of all we'll check the width of the support. So here the width of the support is 0.23 meters, which is less than 1/12 of the clear span. So here clear span is 4 meters. So if we divide 4 by 12, it will be around 333, that is 0.33. So here 0.23 meters, that is the width of the support, is less than 1/12 of the clear span, that is here 0.33 meters. So here I will use the clause given in 22.2a. So that is same as that of a simply supported beam. So for the simply supported beam, the effective span can be taken as the minimum of center to center distance between supports and clear span plus d. So we will calculate the effective spans in both the directions, that is Lx and Ly effective. So now in order to calculate the bending moment Mux and Muy in both the directions, we need the values of bending moment coefficients at the respective locations. So here we can get the bending moment coefficients from the table given on page number 91 of IS 456-2000. So this table is based on the different aspect ratio. So for aspect ratio of 1, 1.1, 1.2, different values are given here, and for different type of panels here. So for interior panels, for one short edge discontinuous, for one longer edge discontinuous. So here in our case the slab S1 has two adjacent edges discontinuous, and the aspect ratio of the slab is 1.24. So we will check the table for aspect ratio of 1.24. So here we need to interpolate the value between 1.2 and 1.3 for two adjacent edges discontinuous. So we have two coefficients for alpha x, that is for negative moment at continuous edge we have the value of alpha x for 1.2 as 0.060, and for positive moment at mid span we have the value as 0.045. So what we will do is here we will copy this table in the Excel, and we will make two tables, one for the negative moments and one for the positive moments. So here I have prepared the table for positive and negative moment coefficients. So once you copy this table, we will calculate the alpha x value for 1.2 with the help of VLOOKUP function. So what we will do is here, with the help of VLOOKUP and match function, we will find the value for 1.2 and 1.3 at the continuous edge and at the mid span. So once we get these two values, our value is 1.24, which is in between 1.2 and 1.3. So here we can easily interpolate the value. So I got the value of alpha x at the continuous edge as 0.062, and at the mid span it is equal to 0.047. Similarly for alpha y, so here you can see that the alpha y value is not depending on the aspect ratio. So for a particular type of panel we have only one alpha y value. So alpha y value we can directly get with the help of VLOOKUP function. So we will get the values of alpha y for continuous edge and for the mid span. So once you get all these coefficients, we will calculate the bending moments in both the directions. So here for span Lx, that is the shorter span, the bending moment in the x direction, which is equal to the alpha x for the mid span in the x direction, that is 0.047, multiplied by the ultimate load, that is 12.63, and multiplied by the effective length in the shorter direction square. So I will get it as 10.02. And similarly MUX at continuous edge. So here MUX at continuous edge is equal to alpha x at continuous edge multiplied by the ultimate load and multiplied by LX effective square. Similarly for span LY, alpha y at the mid span multiplied by WU multiplied by LX effective square, and MUY at the continuous edge, it will be equal to the alpha y at the continuous edge multiplied by WU multiplied by LX effective square. Please note here that in both the bending moments we will multiply it by the effective length in the shorter direction square. So here we will use LX square in both the formulas. So next step is to calculate the required depth of the slab. So here the maximum moment out of all is here 13.33 kilonewton meter. So we will calculate the required depth of the slab, which is given by square root of maximum moment divided by Q limit into B. So we got the required depth as 62.21 mm, but we have provided the depth of effective depth of 120 mm, which is more than the required depth, so it is okay. And the overall depth of the slab is 145 mm. So now as usual we will provide the reinforcement. So first of all the reinforcement in the middle strip. So for that we will calculate the AST required in the middle strip. So that is given by AST required is given by this formula, that is 0.5 FCK BD by Fy into 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6 mu by FCK BD square. So here we will use the mu at mid span for shorter direction in this formula. And similarly we will calculate the mid span reinforcement for longer direction. In this case we will use the bending moment for longer span. So we got the reinforcement in the middle strip. Now we will calculate the reinforcement required in the edge strip. So that is, in these cases we will use the bending moments in the edge strip. So here bending moment in the x direction we will use 13.33, and for calculating the reinforcement in the y direction for the continuous edge we will use the bending moment value as 10.08 kilonewton meter. So we will get the reinforcement required in both the directions. So based on that we will provide the number of bars and area of reinforcement and the spacing required. And please note that the area that you have provided should satisfy the minimum reinforcement criteria, which is 0.12% of gross cross-sectional dimensions for HYSD bar. So here in this case all the area is more than 174 mm square, so it is okay. So now we have provided the reinforcement at the mid span and the reinforcement at the continuous edge. Now what about the discontinuous edge? So the code suggests that at the discontinuous edge we need to provide 50% of the positive reinforcement of the mid span at the top. So whatever the mid span reinforcement that we have calculated, we will provide 50% of that at the discontinuous edge. So now if we provide 50% of 179.52 mm square, it will be less than the minimum value. So what we will do is we will provide the minimum reinforcement at the discontinuous edges at the top. So here I have provided 10 mm dia at 300 mm center to center at the top edge. Next is the provision for torsional reinforcement. So now the torsional reinforcement at corners with both edge discontinuous. So for that we need to provide 3/4 of maximum area at the mid span. So 3/4 is nothing but 75% of that what provided in the mid span. So 75% of mid span steel will come out to be 196.35 mm square, and I have provided 8 mm bars. So 4 bars of 8 mm dia we will provide as a torsional reinforcement in the form of mesh. Similarly, at the corner with only one edge discontinuous we will provide half of this value, that is half of 196.35 mm square. And at the corner with both edge continuous, we need not provide the torsional reinforcement. So this is the design summary. Now coming to the detailing part, in the X direction, at the midspan, I have provided 10 die at 300 mm center to center. So here at the midspan, I have provided 10 die at 300 mm center to center. In the Y direction, at the midspan, I have provided 8 die at 280 mm center to center. So here 8 die at 280 mm center to center. Next is the reinforcement at the continuous edge. So here we can see that the slab S1, the upper edge and the right side edge is the continuous edge. So at the continuous edge, negative moment is developed. So we will provide the reinforcement at the top of the continuous edge. So here in the X direction, the reinforcement at the continuous edge is 10 die at 240 mm center to center. So this is the top reinforcement plan. So this edge is the continuous edge. So we will provide 10 die at 240 mm center to center. And the right side edge is the continuous edge. So for the Y direction, at the continuous edge we will provide 10 die at 300 mm center to center. And at the discontinuous edge, the code suggests to provide the minimum reinforcement. So here at the discontinuous edge we have provided 10 mm die at 300 mm center to center in both the directions. And at the corners, we will provide the torsional reinforcement in the form of mesh. So here at this corner, as the both edges are discontinuous, so we will provide 4 bars of 8 mm dia, that is the full torsional reinforcement. At this corner and this corner, one edge is continuous and one edge is discontinuous, so we will provide half of that provided at this corner. So here we will provide only 2 bars of 8 mm dia in the form of mesh. The slab panel S1, in which 2 adjacent edges are discontinuous. Now in order to design the slab panel S2, first of all we will check the type of panel. So here in the slab S2, the upper edge is continuous, the right side edge is continuous and the lower edge is also continuous. So the left edge, which is the longer edge, is discontinuous. So the slab panel S2 has one longer edge discontinuous. So the design will remain same, only the bending moment coefficients will change. So here from the drop down list, we will select the type of panel as one longer edge discontinuous. So bending moment coefficients in the Excel sheet will be automatically updated and we will get the design. So here the area in the longer dimension is 167.5 mm square, which is less than the minimum reinforcement. Hence we need to increase the dia of bar. So from 8 mm I will take here 10 mm. So now it is satisfying the minimum reinforcement criteria. So the slab panel S2 is also designed. This is the design summary for the slab panel S2, and we can do the reinforcement detailing in the similar manner. So this completes the design of restrained two-way slabs. In the next video I will discuss on the design of different type of foundations. So if you find the content to be helpful, then subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.